You know how some days they just flow, right? You feel focused, energized, like you're really nailing it.
Yeah, totally.
And then other days, it feels like you're just wading through mud from the second you open your eyes.
Definitely. It's a common feeling. There's a lot to be said for how you kick things off.
Right. That first hour, apparently, can be, well, surprisingly important. It can kind of set the trajectory for the whole day, maybe even longer term stuff too.
It really can. It's more than just a feeling. Think about priming a pump. That little bit of effort at the start, it makes everything else flow easier.
Okay, I like that analogy.
Yeah, so consciously directing those first few moments can create this powerful ripple effect through your whole day and maybe even beyond.
Yeah.
We're going to sort of dig into how to make that initial priming really work for you.
Exactly. So yeah, in this deep dive, we're looking at how you can intentionally structure that first hour. We've looked into what some really high achievers actually do.
The top performers, yeah.
And we've boiled down a pretty practical formula to help you get started. And we'll look at some, interesting examples. People like Tim Cook, Robin Sharma. See what we can learn.
Mm-hmm.
So the mission here isn't just the what's of morning routines, but really understanding the how and the why. How do you intentionally design that start to your day for more purpose and actually getting things done?
Let's maybe start with the basic idea. How you begin your morning. It genuinely sets the tone for the hours that follow. It kind of creates a framework, almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy sometimes.
And the science behind it is pretty cool, actually. Right when you wake up, your brain often shows these theta waves.
Right, a theta state.
Yeah. And in that state, your mind is apparently more receptive, almost like it's more open to suggestion. It's this unique little window to, intentionally prime your mindset for the day.
Now, think about the contrast there.
Yeah.
So many people, maybe most people, instantly grab their phone, right? Straight into social media, the news.
Guilty. I've done that.
We all have.
Yeah.
But given that receptive brain state we just talked about, you're basically letting external stuff, often things you can't even control, program your mind before you've even had coffee.
Not ideal.
Not really. But if you choose to use that time with intention, focusing on, say, clarity or your own priorities, that's when you start building that sense of control and positive momentum.
Oh, I can definitely feel the difference. I mean, times when I'd just roll out of bed, straight into emails, social media, I'd instantly feel behind, like I was reacting all day.
Yep, playing catch up.
Exactly. The whole day just felt like a scramble.
I've had a similar experience, absolutely. But consciously deciding, okay, this first chunk of time, maybe just 30 minutes is mine, for focused stuff, no digital noise. It was a game changer.
It really is.
It gives you that feeling of control, sets a more proactive tone for everything else.
Totally. And that's why this idea of owning your morning, deliberately shaping those first moments, becomes this really powerful act of, self-mastery. It's something you do every day, and it builds up.
And you see it when you look at people who perform at really exceptional levels. CEOs, elite athletes, amazing creatives. There's a common thread. They are deliberate about their mornings. They own those early hours.
Like Tim Cook at Apple. His alarm goes off at 3:45 a.m. consistently.
3.45. That's intense.
It is, but it's not just about being awake, right? He sees it as his peak time, his zone of genius, some people call it.
Right, optimal focus.
Exactly. He uses it for exercise, emails, planning his day strategically, all before most people are even thinking about work.
And another example, Michelle Obama. Her routine famously included workouts before her daughters woke up.
Ah, yeah, I remember reading about that.
She called it her essential me time. Crucial for getting ready physically and emotionally for the demands of her day.
So the key takeaway here isn't necessarily what time they wake up, like 3:45 versus 6:00 a.m.
No, not the exact time.
It's the principle, right? The intentionality. It seems like successful people carve out their own rituals, things they do to get energized, centered, and set a positive, focused tone.
Precisely. They treat that first part of the day like a ritual, almost. Not just tasks to tick off. It's protected time for aligning themselves, body, mind, emotions, before the outside world rushes in.
Okay, so we get the power, we see the examples, and how do you actually start? You don't need some crazy, complicated 3-hour thing.
Not at all.
Yeah.
There's actually a really simple structure we can talk about, the 5-20-20 formula.
Ah, okay, 5-20-20.
Yeah, it got popular through Robin Sharma's book, The 5 a.m. Club. It just gives you a straightforward way to structure that first hour, roughly, into 3 20-minute blocks, each with a specific focus.
Got it. So what are the blocks?
Okay, so the first 20 minutes are for move, the next 20 are for reflect, and the final 20 minutes are for grow.
Move, reflect, grow. Okay, simple enough. Let's break those down. What's the benefit of each?
Right, let's start with move. Those first 20 minutes. When you wake up, your body naturally has more cortisol, the stress hormone. Getting moving helps lower that cortisol, and at the same time, it releases the good stuff, dopamine, serotonin. It basically helps switch your brain on and shake off that grogginess.
And this doesn't have to be like a full-on marathon, right?
Oh, absolutely not. It could be simple stretching, a quick walk outside, jumping jacks, maybe a short HIIT thing if you're into that. Anything that gets your heart rate up a bit.
Yeah, I find even just 15 minutes of something makes a huge difference to my energy and just my mood, actually.
Totally. Okay, so after movement comes reflect. The next 20 minutes. This is your chance to find some quiet, build some self-awareness.
So like meditation, journaling.
Exactly. It could be quiet thinking, writing down your thoughts or intentions, maybe some mindfulness practice, or even just taking a moment to consciously think about what you're grateful for.
This is kind of like setting your intention for the day, getting clear on priorities.
Precisely. Thinking about your goals, your values, how you want to show up. It's about directing your focus intentionally instead of just letting the day pull you around from the start.
Okay, it makes sense. Move, reflect. And the last one was grow.
Grow, yes. The final 20 minutes. This is about intentionally feeding your mind with positive, stimulating stuff before you get lost in emails or social media feeds.
So like reading or podcasts.
Yep. Reading a few pages of a good book, listening to a podcast that teaches you something or motivates you, maybe an article, anything that helps you develop personally or professionally. The key is being proactive about what shapes your thinking first thing.
And that point about what you consume early on, that feels really important. Like, what you let in first really can set the mental tone for the whole day.
It really can. Choosing positive, growth-focused input first thing can have a surprisingly big impact over time.
Okay, let's maybe circle back to those examples now with this formula in mind. Tim Cook, getting up super early.
Right. That early start lets him get his exercise in the move part and tackle important work, maybe elements of grow, or just focus planning when things are quiet. It gives him that control and mental space before the day gets hectic.
Yeah, it's not just about cramming more hours in it. It seems like it's about the quality of that time. Dedicated strategic thinking, not just reacting.
Exactly. And then you have Robin Sharma, who really pushes the 5 a.m. idea. He calls those early hours platinum hours.
Platinum hours, I like that.
Yeah, minimal distractions, maximum potential for personal growth and deep work. His whole 5 a.m. club idea is built around creating this strong morning ritual as a sort of, well, a personal force field.
A force field against what? Negativity, distraction.
Kind of, against stress, procrastination.
Yeah.
It helps you operate at a higher level, generally. His view is that a powerful morning routine builds inner resilience.
And he has that quote, right? Own your morning, elevate your life.
That's the one. It really captures it. The discipline you build in the morning, it tends to spill over and lift everything else in your life. And what I appreciate about Sharma's approach is that it's not just about hustle and productivity. He emphasizes a balance nurturing your physical health, your mindset, but also what he calls your heart set, like emotional resilience and your soul set, sense of purpose.
Heart set and soul set. Okay, so it's holistic.
Very much so.
Okay.
It's about preparing your whole self for the day.
Okay, so this is all great, sounds powerful. But now, the really practical bit. How can you, listening right now, actually design a morning routine that works for you?
And this is maybe the most important point. Your perfect morning isn't going to look like Tim Cook's or Robin Sharma's, probably. It shouldn't.
Right, it needs to be personal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It has to fit your life, your needs, what actually makes you feel good, energized, focused, inspired.
So how do you figure that out? Where do you start?
Well, maybe start by asking yourself some questions, like what activities genuinely make me feel stronger, physically or mentally? What helps me focus? What inspires me? Is it moving my body? Is it quiet time? Being creative? Getting outside? Maybe prayer or spiritual practice?
Okay, self-reflection first.
Definitely. And then maybe use this simple template as a starting point, something you can tweak. First, pick a wake-up time. Make it realistic, something you can actually stick to. Even 30 minutes earlier, used intentionally, can make a huge difference.
Doesn't have to be 4 a.m. then.
Goodness, no. Second, maybe try the no phone for the first 30 minutes rule. Just give yourself that space before consuming stuff.
Create before you consume. I like that.
Third, build in some movement. 10, 20 minutes maybe just to get the energy going.
Yeah.
Fourth, dedicate a little time, maybe 5 to 15 minutes, for stillness journaling, meditation, quiet thought, prayer, whatever works for you.
Okay.
And fifth, maybe some growth. Read 5 pages of a book, listen to 10 minutes of a useful podcast. Just some positive input.
And the key thing here is probably starting small, right? You don't have to implement all 5 things tomorrow.
Absolutely not. Maybe just start by waking up 15 minutes earlier. Pick one thing, movement, reflection, or growth, and just do that one thing consistently for a week.
Like building a muscle, basically.
Oh, exactly. It's about consistent small steps. Radical changes rarely stick. Think of it like conditioning. Those regular small efforts add up over time and create real lasting change.
And here's something crucial, I think. Don't just rely on feeling motivated, right? Because motivation comes and goes.
Yeah, totally. Motivation is fickle. What you really need is a system, a plan you can follow even when you're tired and just want to hit snooze. Discipline based on your system, that's what keeps you going.
Okay, so maybe a challenge for everyone listening.
Yeah, let's do that. For the next 7 days, just commit to owning your morning in one small way. Pick one area, move, reflect, or grow, and just consciously do it each day.
7 days, one thing.
That's it.
And maybe just notice how you feel during the day. Pay attention to your energy, your focus, your mood.
I suspect you'll probably feel a difference. Maybe even by day 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look, the goal isn't perfection here. It's not about having the perfect Instagram-worthy morning routine.
Right. It's about being intentional.
Exactly. Just start where you are, use what you have, do what you can consistently.
Because real change, big transformation, it often starts small, doesn't it? With just one deliberate choice. And you can make that choice today to start owning your morning.
There really is something special about those quiet early hours, fewer distractions. Some say it's when your inner voice, your intuition, is loudest.
That's a nice thought.
So maybe try waking up with purpose, move with a bit of passion, reflect with clarity, grow with some hunger, and just fundamentally believe you're worth showing up for every single day.
Own your morning.
And elevate your life. That's the potential.
Powerful stuff. And maybe just one final thought to leave you with. Just imagine what could happen if you consistently dedicated even just 15 minutes every day to one of these things: moving, reflecting, or growing. Think about how that could compound over a whole year.